Hello, everybody. So this might probably be the very last video in this series up until maybe a new feature comes up. I think we might just be touching on a little bit of some miscellaneous things around the manager application. The very first thing we would be talking about is the aggregation of results, which I spoke to you in the last video, I believe, about. So what's happening is, let's say you have different test centers all over the country, or in different places. It could even be within the same school but different installation, and you want to get the results from the other system and then import it into this current system. So what you normally do is that the system from which you would use to do the final aggregation or shortlisting needs to have all the examinees, all of them. Okay, it needs to have all the examinees. So what you would need to do in that case is to come to exams here. You can either click on this. Okay, all right, before you actually import it, you need to export the exam. So export the exam results from the other system. So what you're going to do from those other systems, okay, is to right click on this and say export exam results. So you're going to generate the results, and then when you are trying to aggregate them on the system that you want to do the final shortlisting, you can either come and click on this and see import exam results from that file, and or you can come here, file, and say import exam results from file. Okay, so you browse up onto that file, and you just select it, and then the system automatically does that for you, and then you can go on to do your shortlisting process. But like I told you, all the examinees must already be on the system. They'll be matched by the IDs, so you need to ensure that the examinees which you want to write on a separate location, they are already on the system. One way you could ensure that happens is to probably add all of the examinees from within one system first of all, and then you create a report to export a subset of that using this. So I can say, okay, I want the first name, I want the middle name, I want the last name, I want the gender, and then I'd say, okay, probably you want to do some kind of formatting, sorry, filtering. So you want to say, okay, those in a particular group, you know so I can say belongs to a particular group. Those in this group, I want to export them. Okay, you would want to view them first of all. So the examinee code is here, so it's going to be unique. You can export them to Excel and then import them as new examinees, the way we did them using this when we were creating examinees into the other systems, to ensure that the examinee codes would always remain the same. I don't know if you understand that. So add all of them into the main system, export the groups which you want to write using the reporting feature. You can export the groups which you want to write some other place. Okay, export them to file and then create them using this feature on those other centers. Okay, so that the the examining codes are going to remain the same, because if the matching will be done by their IDs, okay, by the code or ID. So if the IDs are different, that means that they're actually different examinees. So that's one way you can do that. So the exam file must also be added to this system. So definitely the same exam which you added here, you're gonna add it on those other systems, and when they're done, you export the result and then you bring it here. And what you need to do is to just build the exam for the particular exam, and then you can do your shortlisting process, like we talked about in the previous video. Okay, so the next thing which we'll be talking about is I told you that we have an inbuilt feature in Smart Examiner that allows like if an application crashes or the system crashes or the system turns off, when you start the system again, you know the examinee is going to start exactly from where they stop. So I'd want to demonstrate that. Now I won't be able to turn off my remote system, okay, because if I turn it off, it's basically going to disconnect. So what I'm going to do is to do a kind of pseudo shutdown process. I'm just going to force the application to close. Okay. So let's, I want to use this exam and let's do for Josh. So what I'm going to do is to clear his results. Okay. And probably clear any backup that exists in the server as well. So let us go on to our remote computer and try to log in from there. So that should be Josh 79. All right. We have two exams that are visible. It's the mock exam we're interested in at this time. Okay, so I'm just gonna click on begin, and yeah. So basically, they need to be writing the exam for a few minutes for it to, really take effect. So I'm just gonna say let's just pick, some stuff over here, and yeah. So because if they just started, in probably less than a minute, it might not, make a whole lot of sense depending on, the number of questions also. That factors in the number of questions and then the time, the total time for the exam, and all those things. Because there are some preliminary setup processes that needs to be done. It does that within the first minute and then monitors the user progress as well. So let us say we visited this question, but we didn't, get to answer it, and then we, come back, to this other one. And so I'm thinking over here now we now simulate the crash. So what I mean by, simulating the crash in this case is to, first shut down the application. So it's just something similar to what would happen if the system just, packs up, or the power cord, was pulled out, that sort of thing. So that's what we're trying to simulate. So I'm going to do that using the task manager. So I'm going to come to the application, and then I'm just going to try to end the task. So let us see. So let us click on end now. And yeah. Okay. So that is that. So what we'll do next is to launch the. Okay, let's launch the launcher again. Let's start the launcher again. Launch the launcher again. So I'm going to say 192.168.0.102. Okay, so I'm gonna say Josh 79 and down here. So let's choose the mock exam and then choose. So as you notice, we just started exactly, where we stopped. Okay, and so what happens is it it saves on the local system, but it also saves on the server. So I'm not exactly sure where this exam was picked up from, because it compares which of them was, the latest to save, and then it's the latest one it uses. Okay, so it felt like it was downloading from the server, because if you looked at it, it said downloading. So it's probably the case that the server was the, last one to, be saved, and then it pulled that one. So that's exactly, what we're trying to say. So let's first shut down again, and let's try to. So let's say this system, packed up completely, like we can work with this again. Okay, so let's say we can't work with the system anymore for whatever reason. So I'm just trying to, okay. While that is, in the process, I think I should start the mark. Okay. So yeah, we're able to first shut down that application. So I'm just launching into the Mac, and then so we go into another system entirely. Okay, this is a new system entirely. We're unable to continue on the other system. So let us try on the system to see if we can be able to start the exam from exactly where we stopped. So we have Josh 79 and then hidden. Okay. So we want to log in on the mock exam from within the Mac system. So you can see that it downloaded it from the server, and I believe the other one too was also downloaded from the server. Like that was the latest to have been saved. So we start exactly, where we stopped. It remembers the current question. You also remember questions that you have skipped. That's why this is red, and it also remembers the answers which we already picked. So that is another feature. So the next thing which I would want to talk about. So let us say I'm thinking we are going to find a way to end this. Let me first close this application. Let me first quit this application. So give me a second. Okay. So I'm gonna first quit this application. Yeah. All right. So what I want to do is to go back to the other system to start it. Okay. I want to come back to the system to start it because I want to demonstrate something. So if we launch this 192.168.0.102. So what I want to demonstrate is there are times whereby you could have some kind of unforeseen situations. Let us say your network is not just working, your network cable, you can fix the router situation in time, and this happened while the exam was going on. Okay, so we try to think of everything that could happen in a live exam situation, and then we try to cater for it so that that you're not caught unawares. You don't have to resort to going back to the old way, the paper way. So what we're gonna do is what we're gonna do in this case is to I want to shut down my application server on my own system, the Rate of application server. So I'm just going to stop the service. You can't actually see what I'm doing right now. Okay, so I'm stopping the application service. So what this means is that when this exam is done, we should not be able to connect to the server. So I'm just going to be done with my let me just finish this paper. Just gonna finish this paper, and then I begin the second one, and then I say we prove cut off, we already believe in excuse me. Okay, so I'm just gonna say finish exam. Yes, finish exam. Okay, so now it tries to post the results to the server, and it tries and tries and tries and tries, but it's probably not gonna be successful. Okay, because I shut down the application server on my host computer. Okay, so it's gonna keep trying. Okay, it's gonna keep trying and trying and trying and trying. So it just gives you the ability to, okay, it gives you time. You can fix your network infrastructure, but if for whatever reason you're not able to fix it in time, these things could happen. You don't know what is happening. Maybe some network cable is cut somewhere or it's disconnected somewhere, and then you can't really trace it in time because this is like a live exams. Things are happening. So we created the Smart Examiner Inspector for this kind of situation. Okay, we created the Smart Examiner Inspector for this kind of situation. Well, this is not allowing me to open it because of yeah, it's not allowing me to open the inspector. Uh, so what I'm gonna do is, it tries to automatically, just take over the system. That's what the manager does. Okay, so let me see if there is something I could do, to open it. Okay, so I could first shut down this application now as it is. I could, first shut down the application, because this is not, we will not be able to post it. Okay, so I first shut down the application. So now I can have access to my Smart Examiner Inspector. This comes with the application bundle. Okay, so when you click on it, if there's an exam that has been taken that has not been submitted, you can be able to see that exam. In this case, we have the mock exam, and then we see for Joshua Peters, the score was 6, and then the maximum score was 8. So what I can do is to export, this to file. Okay, I can, see the full result on the system. I can export this to file. So I can export it to Excel if I want to import it again, or I can export it to CSV as the case may be. But I'm just going to export it to Excel. Okay, and then I'm just going to save this as let me save it on the external drive because I don't want to import it. So I'm going to say this is Josh Peters mock exam score file. That's probably what I'm just going to call it. Okay, so I exported the file, and then what I'm gonna do is to just quickly eject this and then put it on my host computer. It's a good thing I have the system right about here. So I'm just gonna put a USB on my host computer. Okay, I just connected that on my host computer. So what I'm gonna do is so this is the file we have over here. I could open it if you want to see what it contains, but the thing is, we try to put some kind of security measures, okay, because we don't want a situation whereby people can actually knowingly do this type of things. So, and then like I said, we try to put always security measures that will reduce malpractice. Okay, so what happens is within the file, there is a kind of hash. So these are the details for the subjects, the students. Okay, the student paper information and all those sort of things, and then this is like what the person scored. Okay, but somebody might want to come and change this. It's possible that someone might want to change it. So what we did is we created a hash. Okay, we created a hash. So this is the integrity of the entire content of this. So we're going to do the hash of this again. Okay, and if it does not match what the integrity says, it's not going to work. Okay, so if there's any modification whatsoever to the file, the manager is not going to import it. So that's like some security feature. So you shouldn't worry about someone modifying this file and then trying to import it on the system. So what you do is to open the manager application. Okay, and then in the exam itself, you say import results from file. Now this is different from this other one. This other one is importing from another Smart Examiner Manager installation. Okay, but this is just in this kind of case. I want to import results to file. So what I'm going to do is to browse for that file. I'm going to go to this, and then we'll have the Josh Peters. Okay, so this is exactly what we had, and then let's look at that file again. we can see that the first one is the header. Okay, so it allows you to format this anyhow you want. So if you have so many, let's say you have, this thing happen in many systems, okay, you can actually put all of them together in one file, okay, and then export them. So we allow you to modify the file, but the content has to remain the same. Okay, so you can merge so many files. This happen in, a number of systems. So I'm gonna say skip the first line during the importation process. Okay, and then I'm gonna go on to next. So this doesn't correspond to anything we need. So examine code corresponds to our code. The paper title, do we have anything for paper title? We don't need paper title. We need the paper ID though. Paper ID field, the question count field, the answered field, the unanswered, the skipped, we need the score, the attainable score, maximum score, as the case may be, the question data. This is for future purposes. Okay, we're not going to talk about that now. When we release the next version, okay, that's what this question data is going to be used for. So it's just like future proof. Okay, so so we click on start, and then you see that we skip the first row, and then this was successfully added, this was successfully added. So if we come here now, we can see the score for the student. As you can see here, it has added the score which we got. Okay, and so that's basically what happens. If for instance I change the score to, let's say, 4, okay, and then this one was 4, and then I save the file, okay, and I now come to clear this. So let's say clear exam results, okay, and I want to import it again. I say import results from file, and I go on to my drive, and I try to import it, and I say skip the first line, and then I try to, I know that we have the code, we need the paper ID, we need the question count, we need the answered, we need the unanswered, we need the skipped, we need the score, the obtainable score, the question data, and then integrity. Obviously you can go without this. So you can see that integrity data does not match, integrity compromised, so that result was not added. Okay, so this is exactly what happens in Smart Examiner Manager. Like I said, we are very security conscious, and we try to make sure that the integrity of the exam is not compromised in any way. So this has been a very long video, okay, and thank you so much for sticking with me for this video series, and I hope you get the application. And then if you have any complaints whatsoever, any suggestions, we really appreciate suggestions. That's how we keep making the application better and better. Please send us an email, and hopefully we'll be able to respond to you and also speak to you about your requirements. All right, do have a nice day.